You guys are very much advocates that Baton Rouge smells like corn dogs.
It does. Dude, I've been.
Never been to Baton Rouge.
I've been. It smells like corn dogs. That's not a joke. It does.
It's a scary town for if you're not from around there.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. Thought they got love for us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance. Throwing random in the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another beautiful rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. We might look a little different. We're recording on some different software, trying to up the production value of this great podcast, whether you are watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, and or consuming us wherever you get your podcast. I know, weird choice of words. I just wanted to go with consuming.
Connor wants to be consumed, that's for sure.
Okay, dude. Okay. Just absolutely just throw that in there. Cool.
Didn't love that.
Yeah, I hated it, actually. But we thank you for joining us again. This is coming to you being recorded on July 31st, last day in July, in the dog days of summer. If you're first time joining us, let me introduce myself. My name is Ryan Doyle. I'm joined by my co-host, Robbie Bergstone, in the backwards hat. And the other redhead that looks a little bit similar to myself is my younger brother, Connor Doyle. He's the executive producer, makes this whole show run. Gentlemen, we got an action-packed evening, lots of stuff to discuss, lots of banter. And what are we getting into first tonight?
We're going to get into some NFL stuff, but just for you baseball fans out there, we actually have MLB Headlines tonight, which is not something that we normally have. We do have MLB Headlines, so if you're a baseball fan, make sure you stick around. Only one basketball headline, so unfortunately, NBA fans, this is not necessarily your episode. It's a big MLB and NFL podcast here, but obviously, as Ryan said, last day in July, we're getting to August, and you know what August means? It means football. It means fantasy football, and we have been doing some rankings in terms of fantasy players and their positions and who we think is going to finish in the top 5. We have done quarterbacks and running backs up to this point. We are now going to rank fantasy football wide receivers who we think are going to be in the top 5 in this upcoming season. Gentlemen, Robbie, do you want to spin a wheel? How do we want to do this? Who wants to start it off?
Well, let's fucking wheel. Hell yeah.
Let's just go ahead and get, a couple obvious choices off the board.
Whoa. We got to go one by one. Come on.
Would you want me to just throw one out there that I know you're going to say yes to? Because if you don't, then you probably shouldn't play fantasy football in general.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Jefferson is going to be our number one. I think he's everyone's number one.
Mid.
Bart. Yeah, cut that, Connor. Cut that and throw that in a real quick. But barring injury, he's going to be the best receiver in football again. He actually has some more help at receiver than he's had in the past as well. I think it'll take some pressure off him. I don't think you can double team him as much with Jordan Addison running around, which might take away targets, but I think it leads to better opportunities for Jay Jettas. And I think, no, we're not ranking the top 5. We're just picking our top 5. But if I had to pick the number 1 wide receiver, it would be Justin Jefferson.
I think that's a good selection. Ryan, let's move to you, man. What do you think at the number 2 slot?
Well, I think this is not going to come as a surprise to a lot of people. It's my new adopted team up here in Cincinnati. He's 1 year. Justin Jefferson's younger, and he's a prior draft class. Jeff.
Yeah. He's 1 year younger.
Yeah. Teaming up with Joe Shiesty, trying to run it back. That'll be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we're like Robbie said, we're talking about the top 5 in football, but I think it's a pretty general consensus that those two dudes are both 1 and 2.
I agree.
Speaking of, if this is not in our notes and this is not a headline we're going to cover, but if you saw earlier in the week, Joe Burrow did get carted off the field at some point in practice. Apparently, he's already around the facility and walking around with no limp. So he's absolutely fine. So that's why we didn't put it in the notes. But just in case you're wondering for a Joe Burrow update, he is absolutely fine, and he will be a good addition to your fantasy team.
Bengals fans were in absolute shambles for about 12 hours.
I think you have to be somewhat concerned. Like, he'll be back and he'll be healthy, but like a calf strain is a good way to lead to other leg injuries, especially if you start, not playing your normal way on that leg or whatever else. I think it's something to keep an eye on. I think he'll be fine, but it is still a concerning injury in terms of, any type of leg injury can really mess up other things in your leg.
I feel like if I'm Bengals staff, like in terms of a lot of physical stuff, I'm shutting him down for like until preseason.
You're shutting him down until he's 100%.
Right.
Right. I mean, if he doesn't, I mean, he's going to start week 1, but say if he wasn't ready week 1, he wasn't 100%. I don't think you worry too much about playing him right then. Like, you want him to be healthy, and especially he's already had, a ACL tear his rookie year. So you have to be concerned about all of those things as well.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick the number 3 spot here. Obviously, as I said, 1 and 2 are pretty obvious. I think when you get to 3, 4, and 5, there can be a little bit of debate on who you think is going to take those spots. So I'm going to go to somebody who I think their quarterback is going to have a good year, maybe a career year. I'm going to go to Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, finishing in the top 5 this year.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I think, like you said, 3, 4, 5 is going to be really convoluted here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Miami's just got a decent amount of talent down there with Waddle. Hopefully taking another step forward. Hopefully Tua stays healthy, obviously, as we discussed in previous weeks. But I think Hill is still that dude down in South Beach.
I think 4 and 5 are a little tricky because I think you have 4 to 5 players that you could reasonably see finishing in those spots. There's 2 that a lot of people will pick that I don't think are official. I won't say their names because I think you guys will say their names eventually. I'm going to go to a guy that's getting a little forgotten, but he was not that long ago the best wide receiver in the National Football League. His quarterback should be healthy again this year after a little bit of an injury-ridden season last year. I'm going to go to Cooper Kupp.
I think I'm going to have to agree, actually. I think a lot of people, because of his injuries last year, really kind of pushed him to the side, forgetting that he had, I think it was 2019, had finished 5th in receiver rankings, and then number 1, obviously, in that one year when he had the triple crown, if you will. So I think that he comes back healthy. Obviously, the quarterback situation was also weird last year, but with Stafford back, I think probably, but I don't know if it's as definite. I don't know if it's definite, but I think probably.
Yeah, that Rams offense is just so gutted right now in terms of talent. I mean, like your second best receiver is Vance Jefferson, potentially with like Tutu Atwell trying to come a little bit more into his own. But like you said, if it's not Stafford, it's Stetson Bennett. I mean, I think it really depends a lot just on the talent that's going to get into the ball. I mean, he played 9 games last year and still caught 80 balls. Like the dude is a ball hawk. He's the most talented dude on that offensive side of the ball. Can he stay healthy, and can his quarterback stay healthy?
And I don't think you're going to see Stafford slinging it all that much, and say something does happen to Stafford, Bennett's going to be checked down central. And that's the area of the field that Cooper Kupp just dominates. So
yeah.
Look out, Cam Akers. Does he resurge with a little check down
He's
Bennett?
Ryan, what do we think on this 5 slot here?
So
I got one name in my mind.
There's a couple names, couple dudes that have a lot of talent to be in this 5th slot. A couple of guys that are just not in the best offenses to
situations.
Just have the production. I think there's one dude that belongs here. I think you can make an argument for one more, but I'm gonna go with Stephon Diggs here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna disagree.
Oh,
and he's one of the 2 names that I knew were going to be mentioned in the top 5. And I don't really have a good reason for it other than just a gut feeling that I think they're going to distribute the ball a little bit more in Buffalo. I think Diggs is still a great receiver. I just feel like he's due for a little bit of a comeback, especially with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's great about kind of spreading the ball around. I think that's going to happen. I don't think Stephon Diggs is going to finish in the top 5.
You've thrown me off there. I thought we were chalking it up right there.
We can't make it chalk, man. We got to make it interesting. I was actually thinking that one before the draft. That was not just me trying to throw a wrench in the plans here. But
just for our listeners, Diggs in the past 3 seasons in Buffalo has only missed 1 game in the regular season and finished respectively 3rd, 7th, and 4th in PPR.
So that means he's due to finish 7th. He's right there. Yeah,
that is how statistics work.
He's a lock for wide receiver 1. On your team if you draft him.
So he went 3, 7, 4, which means he's now due for 8 because he drops back and he goes 1 worse than he did. So I think 8. We're locking that in.
So I guess it's to me, and I have a few guys here. One that I'll say one that I don't think is going to get it done, and I think we'll probably agree on this just because of the offensive situation. Even as good as he is, I don't think Devontae Adams will finish in the top five just because the offense is such a crapshoot right now, especially with the Josh Jacobs contract and all that stuff. I don't think Devontae finishes in the top five.
You don't think Zamir White is going to demand a lot of attention from defenses and keep the eyes off Devontae? What?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go.
I think Devontae is potentially a guy that finishes in the top five.
I think it's potentially.
I think there deserves to be a little bit more respect thrown his way. I mean, he's finished first, second, and third in the past 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's true.
So we might look like big dum-dums here if he doesn't, but I'm with Connor.
He's by far the best dude on that receiving core. I mean,
he is him.
You're disrespecting Hunter Renfrow like that?
You're right. I am disrespecting Hunter Renfrow like that. That's correct.
But the guy I'm going to go to here at this 5th slot is the hometown boy. I'm going to go to CeeDee Lamb for this 5th slot. I think he had a really good year last year, and I think that the Cowboys offense, obviously with Tony Pollard coming back, I think that they're going to switch it up enough to where defenses aren't sure whether to expect the pass or the run. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be constricted to one or the other, and I don't know. I just see CeeDee Lamb having a really, really good year and finishing around the top 5.
I think CD finishes 6th. I think he's right so there. Close. He's on the edge of becoming like one of those elite wide receivers. He's getting there. I just don't think he's quite there yet.
All right. Well, we're running out of names here, gentlemen. I don't know.
I got one.
He's got one.
It's the one I'm thinking of.
We love this guy's quarterback. We talk about him all the time.
Oh, I hate this pick.
We talk about him a lot because he is a good quarterback at the end of the day. But I'm basing this off of just one highlight that I saw where he made a sick one-handed catch in the back of the end zone, and it just looked really cool. And I think he's going to do that every single play of this year. That's going to be Garrett Wilson.
Ryan laughing at that pick, it looks like.
Is that because of his new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, hucking him the rock?
That is indeed the reason. I mean, what did he finish last year? Did he finish in the top 10 last year with Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Mike White throwing him the ball?
Dude, stop. I'm so tired.
He was not in the top 20.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes on that. He was targeted 150 times.
Well, yeah.
But half of those balls got to...
I'm so tired of the Joe Flacco disrespect. Didn't he have one game where he threw like 400 yards?
You're thinking of Mike. Oh, no, he did have one. Him and Mike White both threw for 400 yards in a single game.
Stop disrespecting Joe Flacco, man.
The pick here is A.J. Brown. That's the man who's going to be in the 5th slot.
I don't think he does it. I don't think AJ does it.
I think Devontae eats too much.
Running out of names.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna throw a dark horse in there. We're just gonna be those guys.
We have to go back, man. That's crazy. I mean, because I don't see either of those guys finishing in the top 5. I mean, so I guess at this point we either go back or we throw in someone.
Hold on. I got it right here. You heard it here first on this podcast. He's got a new quarterback in town who's Connor's man crush. They're poised to take over the NFC South.
Don't say Chris.
It's Chris Olave.
Oh, it's not Chris Olave. It was never Chris Olave.
I would pick Garrett Wilson over Chris Olave. I don't know what that pick is. That's ridiculous.
Here's one. Here's one for you. I'm gonna throw it out right now, and you're gonna be surprised right here because there's 2 dudes, and I'm saying they're on the same team, and they might finish in the top 5. Give me Jalen Waddle getting those inside receiver touchdowns.
Has there ever been 2 wide receivers from the same team finish in the top 5 of fantasy?
That's what I'm saying.
Feels like a stretch.
There's a first for everything, right?
It's too many mouths to feed, man. Too many mouths to feed.
Yeah, and Tua probably is gonna. Never mind.
Never mind. So since we're talking about PPR, I'm gonna throw another name out here who just gets receptions. He's gonna be good for like 7 and 76 every single week, and then you sprinkle in a couple of touchdowns. I think he could get there. How about Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Does Goff play like a normal human being?
I think he's been solid in Detroit. I don't know why he would take a step back. He's got a better running back now. I think the team got a little bit better around him. Now we're officially running out of names.
Here's one. I'll throw one out here. Bad season last year. He has self-proclaimed said that he will never have a season like this again to Kyle Shanahan, if that's any hint to where I'm going. And I recognize that Christian McCaffrey's there, and I recognize the talent of this offense, but he is used in the rushing game. He is used as a huge pass threat. I think Deebo Samuel has a resurgence here and finishes back.
Too many mouths to feed. Won't happen.
I want to say
who are we going to pick?
No, I know. It's right here.
I just want to say yes for my own fantasy team because I just traded for Debo in Dynasty. So I'm with Connor. I think this is going to happen.
No, here's an actual pick.
God.
The last time this guy played a full season, he finished top 5 in PPR. He's in a better situation. He's got a quarterback that's up and coming. The offense looks good. The division is ripe for the taking. My boy Calvin Ridley coming back.
Yes. I'm going to say yes because that is a dark horse, but it's actually kind of an interesting one.
Talent to do it.
I'm gonna say yes because we're running out of names, Robbie.
I don't want to say yes just because
I'm
curious how he gets integrated into that offense.
Yeah,
they have some other decent receiving options. He's not going to be the only one. Evan Ingram had a great year last year. Why am I blanking on the wide receiver's name though? Like
they got Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. They got some dudes that can catch the ball in Jacksonville. All of a sudden, those 3 dudes, Zay Jones, Kirk, and Calvin Ridley, are like 3 really good receivers for Lawrence to throw the ball to.
Do you remember people think that Lawrence is going to be like a lot of people think Lawrence is going to be like top 5 this year. So it's kind of.
I think we're forgetting how he started the year last year. Like he came back and like started playing great. And like I think it's a prove it year. I just don't know that he's going to live up to everyone's expectations of him this year.
So Robbie, is it a yes or a no for Calvin Ridley there?
It's going to be a no.
Dude.
All right, well, and we're moving on to the next segment.
I got another name. I got one more name. We talked about his quarterback a lot last week. We were discussing quarterbacks. He's not a great person, but inherently he's a good quarterback, and he happens to be by far the best receiving option on this team, and it's not relatively close. Yeah, I think he's been a good fantasy producer in the past. Another Alabama wide receiver. How about Amari Cooper?
I want to say no, but I don't. I don't have another.
No.
What do we do? We've exhausted all our options.
I have given you some excellent choices that have been shot down.
How about DJ Moore? I couldn't say that one with a straight face. I couldn't actually say that one.
DK Metcalf.
Thank you guys for joining us for another week of podcast. We're going to end it here. We're already 18 minutes in, and we haven't gotten our first segment done.
Related to one of Connor's headlines, this wide receiving core always gets hurt, and I think Russ is going to cook this year. Jerry Jeudy.
What do you think he's going to cook in a meth lab? No.
Yes, that counts as cooking.
Who are we picking? We have to go back.
We're gonna publish the graphic. It's just gonna be a locked character. We couldn't agree. Like it's just
I like that.
That's a good idea. Yep.
Nobody could come up with anything.
Like a Super Smash character.
Literally, no. That's what we're gonna just like someone's head, just locked character, like in Madden or something.
Can we just pick Ryan as the 5th overall wide receiver?
How about we do this? How about in terms of the 5th option that we all offered up, I'll put their name/name/name on the 5th slot, and then we can we'll use that. So I'll go back and figure out who said what for the 5th one. So we're gonna move on here after that.
That's the first time that segment has completely tanked like that. It has gone well before that, and we were just not on the same page.
So we're going to move into some NFL headlines here. We got some injuries to talk about. First of all, Dallas Cowboys running back Ronald Jones. This was how I found out that Ronald Jones was on the Dallas Cowboys. Has been suspended for the first 2 games of the regular season for violating the NFL's PED policy.
Bro, why are you going to get suspended for PEDs and just be like fucking 3rd string running back?
Like that?
He's trying to get to 1st string, bro. He's on that grind. You got to respect him.
He's 100% behind Deuce. I would much rather take our little 5'5" running back from K-State.
I agree. He's trying to get up there. He's not going to, but he's trying.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think Deuce has a really good year for the Cowboys also, by the way.
I underrated. I agree, actually.
Not from fantasy. From fantasy, but I think he's actually going to have a good year.
Moving on to another injury. Unfortunately, this seems to.
I didn't even see this.
Yeah, I didn't either. I read the podcast notes.
Broncos struggling. They struggled with wide receiver injuries last year. It seems to be continuing. And again, Tim Patrick, who missed the 2022 season with a torn right ACL, is believed to have torn his Achilles in his left leg. So it looks like he'll be out for this season.
You just gotta
as
hang
well.
up the cleats, bro.
Yeah,
and especially like
brutal,
especially a guy that people thought was actually going to be pretty good for the Broncos. Even given his he's like 29, even given his like slightly older age, they thought he was going to be good, and he's just been injured. It just sucks. Awful for him.
I had so many offers for Jerry Jeudy for just like absolute garbage this offseason in Dynasty. I'm so glad I didn't take it because I knew one of these jokers was going to get hurt.
Also, we're going to add on to the Broncos receiving room woes. KJ Hamler has a heart condition. Apparently, he's stepping away from an undocumented amount of time.
Jeez, I didn't see that.
So you were talking about Russ cooking. It's Judy and street clothes dudes. I don't know who's going to be catching the ball.
Greg Dulcich, you're just disrespecting him like that. My fantasy team is entirely Broncos pass catchers, which is why I didn't win last year.
It happens.
Tough scene, man.
Yeah, the
Broncos tough looks.
And we'll get into something that Sean Payton said later. So, continuing on with injuries, Zach Moss, who former Buffalo Bills running back, who is currently working with the starting offense in the absence of Jonathan Taylor, sustained a broken arm in Monday's practice and will miss roughly 4 to 6 weeks. So he should be. I mean, if he recovers well, he should be back for, I would guess, like week 4, maybe week 3 or something like that. So he's not out for the entirety of this season, but obviously we'll probably miss the start of it.
We'll get to this a little bit later, but I think that Jim Irsay would rather start Peyton Manning at running back right now than pay Jonathan Taylor. And that's like not entirely a joke.
I think you're right, actually. Peyton, get out there. Man. Actually, I guess 1/2 more injury things. Jalen Ramsey, if you didn't know, had an issue with his meniscus. I don't know if he fully tore his meniscus, but he had an issue with it, and he had surgery on his left meniscus this past Friday, and it was successful. And apparently, he has made a promise to Mike McDaniels that he will recover incredibly fast. So we'll see what happens with Ramsey there and keep you updated. And then really kind of feel-good thing related to injury, Damar Hamlin. This was his first practice in pads for the first time since his injury, and he seems to be feeling good and looking great out there. So that's awesome for him.
It's amazing that dude's even stepping on the football field again. Like that is doctors are like say that's okay. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good for him to be back though. That's a great thing to see.
Dude, I saw a great meme the other day because this isn't the first game. I think it's Jets at Bills for the first game, or I can't remember. I think it is Jets or Bills at Jets or whatever. And someone said it was like a funny SpongeBob like scared face, and it was like Aaron Rodgers when he gets the script and sees he has to throw a pick six to Damar Hamlin for the first play of the game. I was like, that'd be amazing.
I'm so glad I rode with my roommate's parlay for baseball tonight, and the first team to finish blew the parlay. So shout out my boy Zach.
Hey, you know what? It's like better to blow the parlay on the first leg than the last leg. That way, don't get your hopes up.
Like with my 7-legger WNBA parlay that lost with the biggest fucking favorite.
You don't deserve to be upset about that. You put down a WNBA parlay. You know nothing about the WNBA.
I had a profit boost. Free money, man. Like the favorites win like fucking all the time.
Please gamble responsibly and don't put down WNBA parlays sponsored by Bros in the Berg. All right, anyways.
If you don't know enough about the NBA.
The line was like 15 points. It was disgusting.
Did you bet on the money line?
Yes. It was minus 750 odds, and they were the last fucking team to play in the parlay.
It was the Aces, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Get pooped on. We're going to move on here. After a contract conflict that extended into training camp, the Minnesota Vikings and pass rusher Danielle Hunter have agreed to a new 1-year deal that can be worth up to $20 million. 17 of that is guaranteed. So obviously, these teams have to get around to paying their players, and Danielle Hunter being one of the premier pass rushers in the league.
His name is Danielle. I always forget about that.
It
always throws me for a little bit of a loop, to be honest.
It's good insight there, Robbie. Yeah, his name.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I can, in fact, read.
This is the last headline before some of the really huge major ones. No disrespect to this player. 2-time Super Bowl champion running back Sony Michel has decided to retire on the opening weekend of training camp with the Los Angeles Rams. He's been a running back for a few different teams between the Patriots, obviously, and the Rams. People sleep on. He had that one postseason where I think he had like 6 touchdowns in 3 games. He was huge for that Patriots team that 1 year. So respect to him. Obviously, you see a lot of players stepping out relatively earlier in their careers because they want to avoid, lifelong injuries, that kind of stuff. I think he's only like 28 or 29, but, got his bag, got his success, and is getting out of there, and I respect it.
Saw the running back market. He saw the running back market and saw some of these dudes getting hung out to dry, and he's like, fuck that. I'm gone.
That's true.
Like, I don't want to get paid $1 million a year to just be a backup running back and get destroyed.
So, the shit kicked out of me.
Yeah.
Moving on to some pretty big news and big stars in the NFL. Dalvin Cook calls move to New York Jets a strong possibility.
Breece Hall owners in shambles right now. Breece Hall truthers are in absolute shambles.
This is.
I was one of those meat writing him saying that he's going to be a top 5 running back.
Did we put him in our graphic?
Breece Hall? No.
Good. Look at it. God, we're so smart.
We're so good.
God, we're so good.
Thanks, guys, for shutting me down on that one.
You're so welcome. But I mean, this obviously Dalvin's a little older and has dealt with some injuries in the past, but there's no denying the talent that he has. But what a team! I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, and that offense would be terrifying if he ends up getting.
It's still the Jets, man. You're like, we're really gonna be like, oh yeah, Perk 30 Rodgers is gonna be like MVP style still, really?
He won the MVP 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but then he went on wellness trips and is like high.
Ayahuasca. He's a big ayahuasca guy now.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Moving into probably the biggest story, or definitely the biggest story in this past week, Jonathan Taylor. If you didn't hear earlier in this week, Jonathan Taylor requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts, and Jim Irsay is very adamant in saying that they will not trade him under any circumstances. And suspiciously, yesterday, Jonathan Taylor, who requested the trade, apparently reported back pain during his pre-training camp physical that was deemed to be from an injury that was not sustained while playing for Indianapolis. And the situation now has the team considering whether to place Taylor on the non-football injury list, which could result in Indianapolis withholding his salary. So obviously a little bit of politics being played there, because I don't believe that they actually care about the injury.
If Indy does that, they will not get a decent free agent to come play for them while Irsay is still in his position. That's football suicide to do that to your best player on your team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're looking. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's asking for more money that's in the running back market right now. So in their mind, they have the entire upper hand because no one's going to offer him more than they're going to offer him.
Yeah. It's just not. Yeah, I agreed with Ryan there. That's just not a good move, not a good look for the team. Obviously, if you're pulling
out. Taylor went on Twitter today or X. Are we? What are we calling it now?
We're Xing now. Yeah,
we're Xing. But he tweeted that he was like, "I don't have any back pain. I don't know where that report came from."
Yeah,
he said that. Yeah.
So it's.
So yeah, kind of weird there from the Colts. So we'll see what Irsay and the Colts end up doing.
I mean, it doesn't really change anything, because if he holds out from training camp not injured because he wants a better contract, he still doesn't get paid. Correct. So I don't know why he'd fake a back injury. It doesn't really change anything.
Yep. And then moving into the last NFL headline that we have, in an interview with USA Today last week, Sean Payton called Hackett's 15-game run with the Broncos last season, quote unquote, one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL, and said there were 20 dirty hands around quarterback Russell Wilson's career worst season that included 16 touchdown passes and a league high 55 sacks. He said, or Aaron Rodgers said, "It made me feel bad that someone who has accomplished a lot in the league is that insecure that they have to take another man down and set themselves up for some easy fall if it doesn't go well for them this year." He said, "I think it was way out of line, inappropriate, and I think he needs to keep my coaches' names out of his mouth." Rodgers said Peyton's comments about Hackett were very surprising and out of character for a coach to do that to another coach. So I guess we're seeing a cage match between Aaron Rodgers and Sean Payton at some point.
I didn't know that Aaron Rodgers' publicist was actually Will Smith. That's crazy, actually. But
that is crazy.
Peyton came out later and say, I had my Fox broadcasting hat on. I need to have my coaching hat on where I don't say things like that, because they don't do that. That's not a normal thing for you to go on and bash a coach, especially one that's still in the league.
Yeah.
But also, is he wrong? At the end of the day, you can say what you want about it, but he's not wrong.
I think you're actually correct there. Obviously, there were a lot of coaching issues last year, but as many coaching issues as there were, I don't think we necessarily need to defend Russell Wilson's performance last year. He still wasn't very good, even in spite of the coaching. So,
but I mean, there has to be something to be said about a quarterback who has been very consistent throughout his career and has been a solid quarterback, that he goes to a new situation and all of a sudden he's not a good quarterback anymore. Like, you could say it's age, you could say it's system, but like sometimes when shit stinks, like there's shit there, right? I mean, that's
what an insight.
What a take.
I'm just saying, am I a Russ truther now?
Holy shit. Are you mean right?
What is
Russ?
happening?
There's a little bit of Johnson.
In your mouth? Crazy. Around your mouth?
Like crazy. Again, I own the entire Denver Broncos offense. That's why I tell myself to sleep at night.
Why would you do this?
You want to trade me Javonte and I can really just go all in?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What will you give me, a bag of fucking chips?
I'll give you Elijah Moore.
Let's take this offline.
So in terms of the NFL headlines, that is it. We are going to move into the next thing now, which is going to be Ryan's Big Boy segment, is what I'm labeling it as. And Ryan has a segment today that he's brought to us, sponsored by Pringles. We're not actually sponsored by Pringles. He's just
gonna gum us. That's the entire segment's just be Ryan gumming us.
What is? Oh, can I do that?
I thought he was gonna
do that.
He one time asked me if he could Squidward me, and I was unaware of what that meant.
Did you say yes?
I said no.
Zero proof that conversation ever took place, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer for slander.
I think I can confirm that. I want to say you asked that in the podcast chat one time, so I'm actually gonna go on Connor's side here and say that did happen.
I appreciate that corroboration here.
I just had a witness.
Fake news. That's all I got.
So Ryan, what do you got for us today?
Got a couple of would you rathers, some comparisons, all kind of revolve around the world of sports. First one, would you rather be on the receiving end of Jadeveon Clowney's hit in the Michigan South Carolina Outback Bowl, however many years ago that was? It's probably like 10 years ago at this point.
But it might be longer, if that makes you feel. I think it might be longer.
Disgusting. Or be on the receiving end of DeAndre Jordan's most famous alley-oop, which was, I was trying to remember who that was.
Brandon Jennings or Knight?
Yeah, Brandon Knight.
Yeah. So they're both gonna hurt, but I'm gonna rank this on the fact that one of them I don't end up with some dude's nuts in my face.
Yeah.
They're both going to hurt.
The Jadeveon Clowney hit, I'm actually knocked out. But that's not as embarrassing as me just getting phically sunned.
But also you're wearing pads, like in basketball, you're not wearing pads. So there's a little bit less shock absorption there. As crazy as it sounds, I might take Jadeveon Clowney.
I'm going to go with DeAndre Jordan.
There you go.
I think the Jadeveon Clowney one may leave me with more long-term injuries, whereas like the Jordan one's embarrassing. What I might be able to walk like the next play.
The running back got back up after that play, didn't he? Am I crazy?
I wouldn't. I'm not him.
I'm now a part of this turf, and I'm never leaving again.
Exactly. So there we go. We had a little bit of a disagreement there. So that's
a great question.
Yeah,
thank you. Now we're going on to switching gears just slightly. If I gave you $1 million, would you take it, or would you go for one try? So go 7 for 10 from the free throw line for $5 million.
Bro, I've never gone 7 for 10 from the free throw line in my life. Not even once. I'm taking that $1 million and running away as fast as I can.
I apologize. Never mind. That was a bad one apparently for the.
I think Connor could do it. I feel like Connor could go 7 for 10 from the.
Yeah, but he's kind of a bitch.
Unfortunately.
We've also seen him under pressure, and it's not great. It's really not good.
Especially when I'm drafting. I did play basketball, and free throw shooting was one of my strengths. However, $1 million, please. I'm not going to lose out on the $1 million, even for
what
5.
A bitch.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Yeah. Kiss me.
Oh, okay. Last one, and this is one I kind of read about. It was called Taking One for the Team. It was, would you rather work once a week in the stadium of your team's biggest rival for a season, picking up their garbage, working for minimum wage, super hot, day in, day out? And it's not just for like their football games. You got to do it for like a whole year for like all the different sporting events. If that meant that you could pick your alma mater, whatever sport they were, to win a national title.
Yes.
Yes.
What? 100%.
You're also talking about. So we're talking about our biggest college rival, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's not that many other events in college stadiums outside
Well, I'm
of the
saying it's
football
like
games.
you're working
You're saying I have
football, you're janitor at basketball games, you're janitor at like baseball games, all of the opposing teams' baseball games,
I could live in Knoxville for a year to win a national championship.
and you're getting paid like you're a janitor at these games too. Like your life is just revolves around you working at the stadiums.
Easy. I make minimum wage and I just day trade, and then I make way more money. This is a win-win.
See, I
don't see the loss.
This is a different lens from an Oklahoma State person than from an Alabama person, because you guys are going to get a national championship.
My brother in Christ, I don't want it in football. I want it in basketball.
Facts.
I mean, I don't think
I honestly would do that for another football national championship.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the stipulation, though. I have to be able to go to the strip and celebrate when we win the national championship. If I can do that, then yeah, I'm in.
I mean, just for us to, I'll go to the Sooners. I'll clean that all up. I mean, Oklahoma State getting a national title, unheard of. So,
right, Ryan, would you agree that you'd have to go to Knoxville? Because, I mean, Alabama kind of has three rivals that you could theoretically say is our biggest rival.
Yeah.
That's the one I hate the most. So that's why I won't.
It's not Auburn. They're too similar to us.
LSU's only our rival because we're competitive with them in football.
And they're going to stab me.
Yeah, that's good.
They're going to turn me into a voodoo doll.
They're going to take their little corn dog stick that they've shaved down to a shank and just stab you with it.
Yeah.
You guys are very much advocates that Baton Rouge smells like corn dogs.
It does. Dude, I've
never been to Baton Rouge.
I've been. It smells like corn dogs. That's not a joke. It does.
It's a scary town for if you're not from around there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that, Ryan.
So we're just going to call that Ryan's things that you saw on the internet this week.
Ryan's big boy segment. That's what we're going to say.
I saw a couple takes from Perk, but we'll have a Perk segment.
We'll get there. Yeah, we still got hot takes later. You can get some Perk in.
We're going to move into the MLB. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball. Shock! We have some MLB headlines that we're going to go over right now, and then Ryan, our resident expert MLB standings professor. Ryan is going to take it after we talk about.
Once again, we are not talking about the AL Central, so stop tagging me in the comments saying that you guys want to talk about like the Royals and the Tigers. No, they fucking suck. Go next.
To start it off, Aaron Judge has returned after his toe injury.
Woo!
Just in time for the Yankees to get to fourth place in the division.
Fifth.
I'm saying they're going to jump the Red Sox with Aaron Judge back. I was giving them that much.
So we'll talk about this in the standings as well, but I wanted to bring it up now. This is the farthest into the season. That's the 100-game mark or whatever they called it. This is the first time since 1985 that the Yankees at the 100-game mark have been last in the AL East. It's been like 40 fucking years since they've been that bad in the AL East. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, as well. Moving into some of the other stuff, obviously a little bit of hometown influence here, but also, I mean, this is major. The Texas Rangers apparently thinking they can make a run at a World Series because some of the trades that they're making indicate as such. The Texas Rangers have acquired star right-hander Max Scherzer from the New York Mets, and additionally, just one day after finalizing that deal, they acquired left-handed starter Jordan Montgomery and right-handed reliever Chris Stratton from the St. Louis Cardinals. The Texas Rangers, I mean, obviously have the best offense in baseball right now and are trying to definitely shore up that pitching, and definitely have with two massive adds to that bullpen. So
I'm glad the Rangers are in the news to distract us from the fact that they got swept by the fucking Padres over the weekend. Really depressed about that.
It's pain and suffering. And then the last one that I have here is another pitching related headline. The Toronto Blue Jays have acquired flamethrowing reliever Jordan Hicks from the St. Louis Cardinals on Sunday. The Cardinals blowing it up. The Cardinals are not doing well and have indicated as such.
Them and the Mets. And to be honest, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the Scherzer trade. As a Rangers fan, right? That was a lot to give up for a pretty washed Scherzer. I mean, Acuna is a top 50 prospect in the farm system. And I think the only reason the Rangers did that is because we have two of the best middle infielders in baseball, like under contract for like the next 7 years. But like I think the Mets win that trade. And honestly, I think they win it pretty handily because Scherzer has not shown to be even a glimmer of himself. Not to mention the fact that he opted in next year for his $45 million contract already, which as his current performance is not anywhere near. Like to remind you, that contract is also higher than the entire A's payroll.
Imagine that it comes out that like DeGrom and Scherzer actually hate each other and now they're back on the same team again.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, the Rangers probably had the best fucking rotation ever. Like Scherzer and DeGrom are disgusting, but it's a lot for the Rangers to give up, and the Mets are just blowing it up apparently, which is hysterical after they were supposed to like be competing for a World Series this year. So carry on.
No, I mean that was a great analysis. I mean we're gonna throw it back to you anyways because after the headlines, we're gonna go to the MLB standings. Obviously, Ryan has mentioned that he will not talk about the AL Central, and he does not care if your team is in the AL Central because if your team's in the AL Central, you're probably pretty irrelevant anyways.
We talked about on our forgettable teams draft that Connor's first pick was the Minnesota Twins, I believe, or Ryan's. And they're the ones leading the division.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, they're leading the division. So if your team is in our draft of the most forgettable teams that are leading the division, then we don't care about your division. It's that simple.
We don't make the rules. We just have to enforce them when they come about. So we're going to start with the AL East, which is by far the strongest division in baseball. Like we talked about, somehow the Yankees are in the basement at 4 games over 500. Your Baltimore Orioles are sitting on top with, honestly, this might be just a hot take. Top 3 mascot in baseball. I said it. I think the Orioles is a sick mascot. I like the color scheme. Baltimore is, kind of crazy, but I root for the Orioles. They've seen some really shitty teams in the past 20 years.
My coach pitch teams growing up were the Orioles. I have a soft spot for the Orioles logo and mascot in my heart.
So you're okay with that take?
I'm on board with that take. Yep.
Excellent. Then they're followed closely by the Rays, who have not really built off a ton of that pre-All-Star break success. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're a game back. Blue Jays are 59-47, sitting at 3rd. And the Red Sox are comfortably in 4th at 56-49. Moving over to the AL West, the Texas Rangers are holding on to a slim 1-game lead after I said previously getting swept by the Padres, making a lot of trading noise. They're 3-7 in their last 10. It's not great. They're not looking good. The Astros are close on their heels. Like I said, a game back in the middle of the pack. So making up some ground, the Angels are only 5 games back and the Mariners are only 5.5 games back. The AL West has all of a sudden gotten really competitive over the last 2 weeks.
And it doesn't seem like the Angels are going to trade Ohtani or Trout. So I think the Angels are in it to try to win the division this year. You're in at 5 games back. Like, go for it.
Yep. And then there's a 5th team, I think, in that division, but for the life of me, I can't remember who's in. Do they play baseball? Are they like a West Coast team?
They're the ones with that one movie about them, where it's kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, but like not really at all.
Brad Pitt.
Kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, but not really.
Only because Jonah Hill is in both of them, and he's a really weird like numbers guy in both movies.
That's true.
Good take. That's what you tune in this podcast.
Moneyball equals Wolf of Wall Street.
But also not at all. I got that.
Got you. Changing gears to your all-star winning team, the National League, the Atlanta Braves still hold the record for the best team in baseball as they proceed to lose to the Angels tonight.
Just lost the aforementioned Angels just a second ago.
So they are 67-36, 6-4 in their last 10. We're on a 3-game win streak as that came to a close. The Phillies are 11.5 games back. So the Braves are pretty much running away with the division as they were last week when we talked about this podcast. Marlins are in 3rd. Mets are there, and the Nationals somehow are 6 games back of the Mets, which is really
if the Mets finish in last in the division, I don't care if the Braves win the World Series. That would bring me a lot of happiness, like a lot of happiness, actually.
Avid Mets hater.
Oh man, you gotta love it. To the NL Central, the Reds are still holding on to a slim 1-game lead.
You're welcome.
Helped out by the Braves breaking out the brooms against the Brewers over the weekend series. Cubs are a game over 500 4 back. The Cubs have kind of come alive. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Don't know where that's come from. Pirates are in fourth, and the Cardinals are 11 games back of the Reds. Out west for the National League, Dodgers are holding on to a slim 2-game lead over the Giants. Diamondbacks, middle of the pack, 4 games back. Padres, 8 games back. And then the Rockies are a deep and distant 5th place in that division.
I hope that one guy that had that crazy like division winner parlay where he had like all of the division winners picked at the All-Star break cashed out. Because a lot of those teams that he had winning are no longer in control of their divisions.
So that was the baseball standings, and I'd just like to throw out one more gut punch to the New York Yankees last night in an absolute abysmal performance. We had a platinum sombrero, which is not something you see too often.
It's impressive.
That was unfortunately with the fan favorite Anthony Rizzo going 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts from the plate. If you're wondering why they call it a sombrero, don't really know. But also there is one above that, the diamond sombrero, 0-6 with 6 Ks. That's only happened 6 times in Major League Baseball history.
Your typical sombrero is a golden sombrero, which is 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. That's so he won up that. Good for him. That's a good achievement in one's career to have.
And a fun fact: the Arizona Diamondbacks are actually the only team in the MLB that has never had a platinum sombrero.
Well, now they're going to have one. You just locked it in.
I did. And it's been 18,000 days since the Angels had their last platinum sombrero, which is longer than the Diamondbacks have been a team. So there's your random ass facts from Major League Baseball.
Imagine Trout or Ohtani throw out a platinum sombrero now.
I'd
break the streak.
So thank you for covering that, Ryan. Thank you for going through the MLB standings. We are going to move into we only have one NBA headline. Shock. We aren't talking much about basketball today.
And man, is it a doozy. Man, is it league changing, if you will.
The Dallas Mavericks want to make another trade run at Clint Capella.
That's it. That's
the missing piece. That's the missing piece right there. That's the Mavs. If they can get Clint, game over. Might as well just not play next season. Then Mavs win the NBA title. That's right. It's right there.
See, Robbie, you're being sarcastic, but I imagine you as a mod, and he's fully serious. That is literally like if we got Clint Capella, he'd be like, "We're winning the finals." Like, it's over. Bro, it's over. It's over. It's so crazy. So yeah, that was about it in terms of the NBA stuff. Thankfully, some of my hot takes are NBA related, so we can talk a little bit.
I have
about
one as well.
That way. We're going to move into how do you say either of these guys' names to be complete? I know the second one. How do you say the first guy's name here on the
Justin Gauthier?
I know Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, I know Poirier. I don't know who the other guy is. No idea.
Justin Gauthier, yeah, something like that. He defeats. I meant to look at it before we recorded, but I forgot. He defeats Dustin Poirier with a head kick knockout to win the UFC BMF title. Jorge Masvidal presented that belt to him at the end of the fight there. So yeah, just a new champion there. I believe it was his 29th fight, and I believe he had lost to Dustin Poirier a couple of years ago in another championship fight. So getting his redemption there.
We can talk about the U.S. women's team very quickly.
Please do.
I just want to do a quick run through. I got the table up. I'm ready.
Please.
So about half of the groups have finished up. So we have some teams locked into the knockout stages. In Group A, we had Switzerland and Norway both advance. Norway won the tiebreaker over New Zealand, one of the host countries, in goal differential. The second host country, Australia, won Group B. They're going to the knockout stage with Nigeria. In Group C, we have Japan and Spain both advancing over Zambia and Costa Rica. And now we get into the groups that I think are playing tonight and tomorrow. I think there's still a couple of days left of group stage games. In Group D, we have England and Denmark at the top. Denmark is in a race with China to advance the next round. England should be locked in. They've won both their first 2 games. Should be good on that front. In Group E, the one that most of our listeners are going to be most interested in, we have the United States currently at the top of the table, followed by the Netherlands, Portugal, and Vietnam. Recording this podcast right before the U.S. women play tonight at 3 a.m.
Oh, lovely.
They do have to win this game.
Yes.
Otherwise, you have to bank on the Netherlands losing to Vietnam, which is probably not going to happen. So the U.S. women's team needs a tie or a win to advance to the knockout stages. I think they'll get there. but we shall see.
It would be an upset of the greatest proportions for our listeners that don't know anything about like World Cup soccer or anything. The fact that the men potentially went to the knockout stages and the women didn't, if you had bet on that, you would have made so much fucking money.
Yep. But it should be interesting. I think they'll get there, but it's soccer. You never know. In Group F, we have France and Jamaica at the top. Group G, Sweden and Italy. And in Group H, we have Colombia and Germany. So that's your quick Women's World Cup update. If you feel like getting up early in the morning and watching the women play, you can. I will not, but I will be happy to see the score tomorrow when we win 2-0 over Portugal.
There you go.
Is 3 a.m. a stay up? I feel like that's more of a stay up late than a get up early. I feel like 4 a.m. is
with that. That's probably a good call. Yeah,
that's a great take.
Good analysis.
Yeah.
Good analysis.
Thank you very much.
Real quick before we go into one of our last couple segments, I know we only had one NBA headline. I kind of wanted to go into ESPN's released for power rankings for the top 5 odds for the NBA teams to win the 2024 finals. Way too early. A lot of shit can still happen. But currently number 1, as we probably could guess, with the Denver Nuggets, definitely going to run it back. They are sitting at plus 450 for title odds for them.
You're so young.
Yeah. Yep. Second place, Boston Celtics. Definitely going to be a new look Boston Celtics with KP losing Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, the biggest contract in the history of the league. Lots of things to watch out for in Boston. They are a plus 550 for being a favorite out of the East. In third place, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, plus 650. Keeping the core together, brought back Middleton, brought back Lopez. Giannis, obviously, top 2 player in the world at this point. Yeah. Raise your hand. Yeah, Connor.
Yeah. I have a take real quick.
You can do this. Remember, you can.
I think Giannis comes back this year with a massive vengeance. I think Giannis wins MVP, and I think the Bucks go to the finals this year. I think that the Bucks have. So I know they're a little older, and I know Middleton's a little older. I think that the Bucks come back this year. I think they're going to be pissed after Miami last year, and I think they come back and Giannis wins MVP, and they go to the finals.
Do you guys think we overestimated how good the East was? Because I feel like last year is all about look at how good the East is going to be, and then we got through the year, and it's like there's a lot of good teams in the East. Top to bottom, there's a lot of really solid teams, but there's no great teams in the East right now. You have the Celtics, the Bucks, probably be the 2 great teams, and neither of them made the finals last year.
Yeah,
I think there's a line.
Bucks lost in the first round,
right? But with some injury issues.
Yes,
but I think the East is really good top to bottom, but there's not that one team. They're like that's a team that can win the NBA Finals.
I feel like we said that about the West, and obviously it's different with hindsight. But I think people the entire year knew that the Nuggets were really good, but nobody actually believed in their heart of hearts that they were going to win the finals. I don't know what it was. But, shut up, Robbie.
I did. I was a Nuggets.
Oh God. But yeah, no, I don't think that's a bad analysis. But obviously this year I think this year will be very interesting and kind of solidify who's the top of the top right now.
Yep.
I like it.
Keep going on the list.
Fourth place is the Phoenix Suns. As we probably could have guessed, plus 850 odds.
Maybe a little low if they figure out how to play together,
right?
They're gonna be tough out.
And I think that's the thing. Can they stay healthy? Can they get good production from their bench?
So do they have the depth?
If any production, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be a super interesting team to watch. Would you guys like to take a guess? There's 2 teams tied in odds for your 5th slot, both coming out of the West.
The Lakers?
Yeah.
That's one.
Not this. No, it would be the
It's not the other team in Los Angeles, is it?
It is not.
It also could be a sleeper team again. It can't be the Grizzlies because Jaw's missing 20 games.
Nope.
Yikes, who is it in the West? It's not the Kings.
Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
I was thinking
those are some homer odds.
You can never, but the thing is, you can never count them out. Yeah. No one expected them to win a couple years ago when they did, and all of a sudden they were. back. So
apparently, a quote from Steph Curry, I think it was today, said he feels like he's in the best shape of his life. So that's a little scary. That's a little scary coming from
for the rest of the NBA.
Steph Curry.
Steph's really going to go for another unanimous MVP this year.
That'd be
and last thing for me, I think a team that is some really good value odds, especially depending on where one last potential free agent trade potentially goes to. Miami Heat are sitting at plus 1,800.
I was going to guess the Lakers and Heat before you said they were both in the West. That would have been my guess for fifth best odds.
Because those odds are sitting like that because no one knows what that team will look like if they get Dame.
Yeah, if you can get on those odds now and potentially they get Damian Lillard, you're sitting nice.
That's another headline
Ryan, let's get a bet down.
Okay.
That's another headline that I forgot to actually cover. I forgot to write that down because it was a few days ago. The NBA actually intervened with the whole Damian Lillard and age thing, and essentially said that if Damian Lillard and his agent come out and keep saying that they will only go to Miami, that there may be league repercussions for that. So obviously they have to keep a little quiet about that, or they're gonna get he's gonna get fined.
Oh no,
0.5% of his contract, or 0.00 like 5% of his contract.
I think he's made his point very clear. So
exactly.
I don't think
anything else. Yeah,
is gonna do anything.
So yeah, we're going to move into hot takes. So we have a batch of hot takes that we've taken from Twitter or X now, Reddit, whatever we find, Instagram, whatever we found across social media and the internet. And we're going to find some hot takes from some people, and we're going to present them and kind of have a discussion around them. So gentlemen, does anyone have a take that they would like to present?
Sure. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm gonna start with like a troll take, and then I have two like actual like interesting like discussion takes. Yeah, I'm gonna start with just a troll take that I saw. Nebraska has the best college football atmosphere at 4-8. Imagine they'd be like at 8-4.
Is that a troll take though?
I just love that they didn't say not imagining them like winning the Big Ten like at 11-1, 12-0. No, they're like imagine them at 8-4.
So Penn State's got a real good environment. Michigan and Ohio State got a real good environment.
We're talking about best in college football, Ryan, not just the Big Ten.
Oh, I heard Big Ten. Never mind. Thank you.
That's why it's a troll take. That's why it's a troll take.
My favorite college football video of all time. This was a few years. I think it was when Saquon was still at Penn State. It's the whiteout game. I can't remember who they were playing. Who Penn State was playing. But it's the overshot drone image of the quarterback running on the field, and it's a whiteout, and it's like a super close game in the fourth quarter, and the stadium is nuts. I like that's my favorite college football video ever. It's insane because it's so loud. But Nebraska meat riders be kind of nuts.
It's crazy. It's actually weird. They're still living in the 90s. It's kind of like Cowboys fans.
Yeah. Oh God. Ryan, let's hear from you.
All right, I'm gonna read this tweet out. This is from way back in the day. It's about a quarterback who's him. Quote. This is a 2009 tweet.
Wow.
Quote, Chad Henne is the Dolphins quarterback of the future. And if this year is any indication, the Finns are in good shape. You want to know who tweeted that tweet? At Miami Dolphins.
Damn.
I mean, you got to hype your guys up, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You got to hype them up. What did the Dolphins go in 2009, Ryan? You have any idea?
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
9 Dolphins. I'm sure they got waxed by Brady multiple times.
No, they always caught them in Miami somehow. Like they always used to pull out a win against the Patriots in Miami for some reason.
They were 7-9. The Patriots actually only went 10-6.
Robbie, who's your favorite Dolphins player ever?
Favorite Dolphins player ever?
Yeah, go ahead. Just throw a name out there.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, what a pull. Damn. Sheesh.
That's what up.
Yeah,
Ryan, that's the only player I could think of.
Do I got a what?
Favorite Dolphins player?
It's got to be Ricky Williams.
Ah, damn it! I knew you were gonna take Ricky Williams.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
I'll go Patrick Surtain. The old defensive back.
The elder
Yeah,
Patrick Surtain. Yeah,
he was great in NFL Street, and I'm gonna stick by that.
Yeah.
So my hot take: Anthony Davis won't get hurt all year.
Okay. Well, now you're just smoking.
That's a troll. That's a troll.
He couldn't even get it through with a straight fucking face.
I wanted to see your reactions to it. As proclaimed on this podcast, Anthony Data Davis or Anthony Street Clothes Davis is what we know him as.
Yeah, it's a lock. There's no if Anthony Davis plays 82 games this year. What are the odds on that? They got to just be insane.
Yes.
Plus 20,000. It's just not. It's just not happening.
All right, Rob. Nope. All right, Robbie. Give us your discussion.
So we're getting a little bit more into some discussion here. It's bullshit. The comeback player of the year. They're talking specifically about the NFL. Can be given to a player that was just bad the year before. Looking at you, Russell Wilson, sucking really bad shouldn't make you eligible for the award.
You're saying it should be like exclusively to guys who got injured the year
Correct.
prior?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part, I'd probably agree, but this is hard.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should name it differently. You should have separate ones.
I think most improved is an award that should go to someone who sucked and then got better. I think comeback inherently means you're coming back from injury.
I would like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys think Ben Simmons wins Rookie of the Year this year?
He has a chance. He always does.
I actually have a take about NBA Rookie of the Year coming up. So hold your horses.
Thank God.
In terms of awards being renamed, can we please rename the MVP? Because most valuable player and best player are not the same thing. Because if LeBron James, if MVP was true to his name, LeBron James would have 10.
Yeah, I
think that's a normal take.
LeBron,
I know, but
average LeBron meat writer.
every week, man.
I can't get through a fucking podcast without I'm not even gonna go into what I wanted to say. Actually,
my glorious King LeBron,
my glorious sugar plum.
Sugar plum.
Oh man. All right. Well, I got one that's a little. This is more of a like a graphic and like a troll. So I'm gonna try to explain it the best I can. So a week ago, Cincinnati was playing the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee, and Ellie De La Cruz hit a warning track blast for his first at bat in the first inning. And when he came back around, underneath Ellie De La Cruz's like information or fun fact that they do about every player or whatever, the Brewers had changed it to almost hit a homer in the first inning, but didn't. And so for that second at bat, he fucking piss roped one 480 feet to right center.
If you're the Brewers like video board guy, like what good comes out of that? Because you know what's going to happen. You know that what the worst case is that he belts one over your scoreboard right after you put that up. That's just
it is physically exactly what happened.
It's a lose-lose situation.
That's correct. Yeah. That's a hot take.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Did you see how fast he got to third base the other day? It was like he got to third base in like 10 seconds or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
he's so
nuts.
Fast.
He's nuts.
His top speed was like 21 miles an hour.
He got from home to third in like 10.7 seconds. Something ridiculous.
His speed was like slightly less than like Usain's was for a second. It was ridiculous how fast he was moving. So I guess this is my turn. I guess it's my turn for the next take. I have one right here. Luke, obviously kind of a hometown thing, but if there's ever a season to do it, it might be soon. Luka Doncic wins MVP.
I don't think that's an awful take. He's been close.
No.
If he hadn't gotten hurt last year in that like 15 game gap, I mean, I think he would have been a lot. And obviously, if the Mavericks had done better.
Does having Kyrie Irving help or hurt his chances at winning MVP?
It's a good point.
I don't know the answer to that because
it's almost like because Kyrie can suck your team down really quick. If Kyrie's playing bad, like that's a great way for your team to not play well. But if Kyrie plays good, then Kyrie's also up there for being an MVP candidate.
His numbers didn't drop drastically whenever Kyrie was playing with him. Obviously, the points did a little bit because Kyrie's also a player that kind of needs the ball in his hand. But other than the points dropping a little bit, I think his assists went up, obviously, because he's got Kyrie. But I mean, in my eyes, I think it was like a triple-double, still MVP numbers. I mean, especially if your team is doing well. Yeah. So I definitely think it's possible. I don't know. I think it kind of balances out almost. Like he helps him as much as he hurts him, kind of thing. So I don't know if it goes either way, to be honest. But obviously, the Mavericks just need to be better this year for that to have any chance of happening.
You do have to make the playoffs to win MVP. That is kind of a requirement.
The play in, Robbie.
The
play in.
So I'm saying you don't get it for making the play either. You have to make the playoffs.
Golly.
There's so much Mavs copium right now.
Yeah.
I hate it. How did we not? Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Robbie, your turn.
I don't think this is a scorching hot take, but I do think it's an interesting one. So kind of backing off the Ben Simmons thing of, Ben Simmons obviously won Rookie of the Year and technically his second year in the league. Chet Holmgren is eligible to win Rookie of the Year this year. And this take said Chet Holmgren will win Rookie of the Year over Victor Wembanyama.
See, this is a different situation, I think, because I don't know if you'll remember.
Way better team.
I'm saying in terms of the situations that we're in.
Yes.
Like Ben Simmons had, correct me if I'm wrong, practiced like numerous times, and like how many? It was more than 1 year. I thought it was like a year and a half or something.
It was something weird, yeah.
And Chet has had one season where he was legitimately not able to practice the entire season. He was hurt the entire season, and he is a rookie.
Yeah, it's obviously a difference to which I think just the take is that Chet will win it over Wembanyama, who's just like assumed to be, the best player coming in, right?
I think it's possible.
I
definitely think it's a possibility. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely interesting. If I had to guess, I would still lean towards Wembanyama because of how bad that Spurs team is. And obviously,
but it's the same thing with Kyrie. Does like the rest of the Thunder being good elevate Chet to be a great player and kind of have that supporting cast around him?
Well, Rookie of the Year is different than like I know you said Kyrie, but Rookie of the Year is also different in terms of MVP because Rookie of the Year, like you can be on a horrid team and but they know that because if you're the best rookie, you're most likely on a bad team. And so they're like, however you've performed, like you'll get Rookie of the Year.
And it's also about like them, like they're just getting more minutes. Like if you look back at Rookie of the Years in prior years, their stats are inflated because they're playing so much because they're on those shit teams.
Yeah.
Currently, Wembanyama sits at minus 125 for Rookie of the Year, and Chet's at plus 380, with Scoot at plus 430. So actually, not a huge gap between Scoot and Chet.
Yeah, I think people just forget that Chet can win it this year because I think normally you'd be like, oh, it's going to be either Wemby or Scoot.
Wemby or Scoot.
Ryan, what you got for us?
That's really all I had, my guy. Man, I
want to give you one more. One that I keep seeing, and this isn't just like a hot take of mine or whatever. This is one that I continually am seeing across most social media platforms. The Buffalo Bills either miss the playoffs or lose in the first round. I'm not kidding. I've seen this like as a popular hot take. That I mean, granted, Josh Allen can't win a playoff game. We know this. Yeah. We all know this. Everyone in the community knows this. But miss the playoffs?
The AFC East is going to be way better this year. The worst team in the AFC East is probably the Patriots. And it's not like the Patriots are going to be bad.
They're just going to somehow turn into the punching bag for the year.
They're still going to be like 7-9.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be 7-10. But you get my point. I mean, they're still going to be around 500. It's Belichick. I don't think Belichick's letting them be any worse than that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with that, but I just keep seeing it. That I felt like I had to throw it out there.
Missing the playoffs is hard, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see them making it far in the playoffs.
Oh, there you go.
So, if the Bills somehow go through this iteration of this team with Josh Allen, Diggs, the whole nine,
Gabe Davis,
and they don't win a Super Bowl, does that make like the Bills some like the like longest suffering fans in the NFL? I mean, they already are going to 4 Super Bowls in a row, not winning one.
Dude, they are, but like, what do you do if you're the Bills? If you don't win it this year, and maybe you don't even make the AFC Championship game this year, like, you don't blow it up. You still have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but like, what do you do to get you over the hump? I don't know. You're like almost stuck in that like good but not good enough stage of being a team.
I think the Bills have had like good enough defense the past couple of years too. Like it, I don't know what you do.
They just unfortunately run into the Patrick Mahomes buzzsaw every year.
I'm sorry, I can't get past because everyone thought he was going to be so good last year. Gabe Davis, I knew was not going to be that good last year, and everyone was like, "Oh,
this is his year. This is it."
I mean, yeah, the Bills are kind of in an interesting situation, as Ryan said, like one of the best, second best quarterback in the NFL, probably.
If the Bills were in the NFC, would they have made the Super Bowl by now with Josh Allen?
Good question, actually. Who's the team?
Last year?
Who's the
I think
typical?
the Eagles would have beaten them last year.
Typical spoiler in the NFC is usually the Niners. For some
Niners,
reason. They
yep.
keep beating like the Cowboys and the Packers and like.
I think because the year that the Chiefs played the Niners in the Super Bowl when was the 11 seconds game where Mahomes went down the field and
That was the 13 seconds when Mahomes beat
Yeah.
on the coin toss. That was
an
the
AFC
prior
Championship
year.
game.
That was
That
not
was
just
who
that.
did- Yeah, but who did the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl that year? Did they make the Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, because they beat them in
the
that
AFC
last
championship game. Yeah.
They played the no
No, it was the
They did-
Bucks.
Because remember they did play the Niners one year, but I think that was earlier. Because that was when they
Bucks.
beat the Brady Patriots.
was
when they
was
played the
that when the
Niners.
Bucks beat the piss out of them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, that was the Bucks. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I still can't believe that happened, to be honest.
No.
I mean, they had their third string left tackle, and it was like that. They had no chance, unfortunately. Moving on from hot takes, we're throwing it back for our longtime fans, for our old listeners. We appreciate you and that you're still here.
The OGs.
The OGs. We're throwing it back to a tier list, and we're just gonna get into it. Ryan came up with the idea. It's a pizza toppings tier list. And
Everything that goes on the pizza goes. Let that be clear.
See, this is gonna be hard for me because there's not much I don't like on pizza. Like
That's why
pizza's
I
just
wanted it.
good, man. Pizza's just
It's
good.
gas. Absolutely.
And I will let it be known that I did not create this list. This is a list I found, and it has a good amount, but not like a ton. So we're not sitting here too long. We're gonna get into it with this first one. So we have S, A, B, C, D, F. That's how they have labeled it. We're gonna get into the first one here. Anchovies.
F. Get that.
You ever
off.
had anchovies off pizza?
Yeah.
I don't want my pizza fishy, my guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna back you there. I actually think that's also an F tier topping. Bacon.
Super overrated topping on pizza.
I was gonna say underrated topping on pizza.
I think it's super overrated topping, personally.
I think you're
Hook
overrated.
me up with a bacon and the OG pizza topping that we'll get to later, the best one on the list. Those two together, match me in heaven. Just give me all of that.
I put bacon low B, high C. That's how low I think of bacon.
That's disrespectful.
That's
disrespectful.
Incredibly disrespectful. Holy
That's
shit.
disrespectful. I don't
Connor,
like that.
I would have it in A. I don't know about you. I don't think it's on that top echelon of
Agreed.
pizza toppings, but it's up there.
I would also have it in A. So get shit on.
Yeah,
You are dumb. Holy shit, you are dumb. Anyways,
I want to put it in there. One kind of, I guess not super unique, but one that I guess people don't think about super often. Basil.
great topping.
it just
flavorful.
it's not going to do a lot for me. You know, I'm not going to be upset because there's not basil on my pizza. Like that's not
because you're a simpleton.
because I'm a pizza casual. Is that what we're saying? Or a pizza?
You don't know ball.
I don't know ball.
You lost weight, so now you just are not in touch with your fatter side, right? I'm still chunky, so
I was gonna put it in B. I just don't think it. I mean, it's good. It just doesn't do a lot for me.
we can agree on B.
I'll throw it in B as well. I think it's one that Ryan really likes. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Bell peppers or just peppers?
I'm a whore for onions and peppers on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Gas me up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
A tier,
I'm
at
in with
least.
A tier. Wow. All
Peppers
right.
and
Okay,
A tier.
Robbie, you throwing peppers in A tier?
Yeah, so I make these little like pizzas like at home with these like tortillas, and I always put bell peppers on it every time.
Yeah.
It just adds a little bit of flavor that you need.
Damn
All
right.
right. I would in B, but I got
Roasted bell peppers are just gas.
Agreed.
Interesting. We're gonna go to chicken here.
So good. It depends on what you do with it because
Depends on what you do with it.
It can't just be on a normal marinara sauce, but you give me like a buffalo chicken or a barbecue chicken pizza, I'm destroying that.
Bro, a good I might get hate for
Pesto
this.
chicken pizza?
A good chicken bacon ranch is crazy good.
We
Like,
just named
that's
4 like S tier pizzas. On it.
So we know where
I
chicken's
think
going.
chicken is an S tier.
All right, well, yeah, that's the first one in S tier. I guess we're going here. Another one that people may not think about enough, but is technically an extra topping: extra cheese.
It takes away from some of the other flavors I'm trying to get on that
I would
pizza.
actually agree with
a
that,
respectable amount of cheese is what you need.
It's not gonna necessarily mess it up, but it can. It's not gonna add a lot to it. It's not really gonna make my pizza eating experience any better.
And it also puts me on the can the next day. So
And we're talking about like the melty cheese on top. Like if I had to sprinkle some Parmesan on top, that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Don't say haunted. Don't say that.
I would go C.
I was also thinking C. Yep.
All right, we got C. One that I typically don't think about, but I guess it's on this list, so we're gonna rank it. Garlic.
So is that are we thinking like microplaned garlic, some minced garlic on top?
We're going like a garlic sauce.
That's different. No, I don't think it's a garlic sauce.
It's like Ryan said.
More specific.
Okay.
Minced garlic does not move the needle for me in the slightest.
Yeah. And it can, like, if they don't mince it up well enough and you get big chunks of garlic, that's not great.
That's a gamble. I think that goes in D tier.
Oh, all right. I guess we're throwing in D tier there. One for the meat lovers of the list, ham.
I just think it's an overrated pizza topping.
I wouldn't put it that high up there, but I do like ham, and also I like Hawaiian pizza, which one of the two main ingredients in Hawaiian pizza is ham. I put it in B. I don't think it's anything super special, but I do enjoy ham on my pizza.
It's a very low B for me, but we can settle on.
I'm okay with that.
Agree. It's a low B for me. Jalapenos.
You either like them or you don't. I really don't think there's any middle ground for jalapenos. That's just inherently up to you. Personally, I think they're not as good as peppers and onions.
Not on pizza.
I don't think they fit on pizza. Yeah, that was gonna be my take as well.
But I think it depends. Like they go on very specific kinds of pizzas. Like I think with actually buffalo chicken, I think jalapenos go really fucking hard with that, or some like spicy like Sicilian pizzas.
They're not as versatile a player as chicken though. Like they're even like more specific in terms of what pizzas they can go on.
I can agree with that.
I'd give it a D.
I think D's too low. I'm with C on that one.
All right. I guess we'll throw it in the C. This one, I guess we're gonna say meatball / pork, kind of the pork meatball kind of thing.
It's like an Italian meatball. It's a whole ball. Yeah. It's like Connor is on a Friday night, just like balls of meat in your mouth. So where do you think that guy? Where do you think that fits, guys?
Where are the other cameras?
E. I like having a piece of topping in every bite that I have on my pizza. I think that's a big distinction for me. Like that's why some of the other ones we'll get into later, they're smaller and can be sprinkled out across the entire pizza. But like, it's either you got a bite that has no meatball or a bite that has too much meatball.
Yeah, you're taking a bite and you just get tons of balls in that one bite. You're just stuck with that.
Yeah, it's just meaty and girthy, and you're overwhelmed by the tonnage. So I think it's like BC.
What's going on? Are y'all pranking me? What's happening?
What do you mean? We're just having a discussion about pizza.
Sorry.
What's the issue?
I just got confused for a second. I don't know what was going on there. We'll go see there. Mushroom.
Again, people are very opinionated about mushrooms.
Ass.
I like mushrooms. Not that I wouldn't put them that highly, but I do like mushrooms.
I don't pick them off my pizza. Like I'll get supreme pizza, and mushrooms are a welcome addition to that pizza.
To be fair, I did eat them with you that one time.
We can compromise, put it in like top of C. I have no issues.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings with that. Yep.
Fine. Olives.
Joining anchovies. It's that simple.
I fucking hate olives. I really don't like
bad.
olives. I really don't like olives.
They're so awful. On this list. Onions. Give me S. Give me S for onions.
I'm here for you, baby. Yeah, they go with everything.
Onions are
Looks like we need a buffalo barbecue chicken pizza at the top.
I am not upset with that at all. Fuck, dude, I have a free Domino's pizza right now. God damn, does that sound good right about now?
I would tear that up respectfully.
Yeah,
and I think we have one more person joining them in S tier. It's probably the most famed topping on this list. We got pepperoni.
Yeah,
there's no
blueprint.
It's the LeBron James of pizza. Like let's just put that out there. You know what you're getting. It's solid all the time. And if there's an MVP of pizza, it would win it every year.
On God.
So I had a pizza from Marco's the other day. Honestly, Marco's really slept on. Mm-hmm. If y'all haven't had Marco's in a while, I think it's heads and shoulders above like Papa John's.
What did we have?
I'm a big Papa John's hater. What?
Why do you hate Papa John's?
It's ass. Number
It's
one.
bland. The crust is bland.
So are you,
does
right,
nothing
boy?
for me.
Excuse me. You are by far the whitest person right here. But they got a extreme pepperoni pizza, and it's like the classic pepperonis that you get on some of the other chain, but they also have like the really small, super greasy. Oh, they got them both on one pizza. It's fire.
Dude, the cupped pepperonis are in their own level of like pizza topping.
Yeah. I spent way too much money on one fucking pizza because I saw that.
Here's my comparison. The cupped pepperonis are kind of like the Reese's peanut butter eggs.
That's a good take.
That's a comparison.
Great analogy. They're nuts.
It's a great analogy. Well done.
Yeah.
Excellent, sir.
Thank you. So yeah, obviously we got pepperoni in S tier. If you don't, what's wrong with you? And I think there's going to be some dissension on this one, obviously, because Robbie said it earlier. Pineapple.
I like pineapple.
I've never had it, so I can't make a fair judgment.
So there's some like story behind this. Like USC used to play Hawaii a lot, and like those games would always kick off at like midnight, 1 a.m, and we'd watch those games growing up.
Dark baby.
And when you're watching them play in Hawaii at midnight, you got to eat Hawaiian pizza.
I respect that.
And so we used to get those a lot growing up, and they have a place in my heart because of that. But I don't think they're the best thing ever.
I don't love the sweet on the pizza.
It's a change. You have to be in the right mood for it, right? Like you're not just gonna like random Friday night, like you just always want a Hawaiian pizza. That's weird. Like sometimes you need a change up, you know?
Yeah.
I would put it in B. I wouldn't put it crazy high.
C?
I like pineapple.
I think B. I'm just not about it. I would say C.
Let's throw it in C. We'll throw it in C. Just to make sure we don't make too many people, too upset with us. Plain. Just a cheese pizza.
It's D tier. There's
valid.
A blank canvas, and there's a topping for everybody. And if you don't want to put anything on your tomato, bread, and cheese, then you have an 8-year-old's palate, and you don't deserve rights.
Wow. It's like just eating a plain tortilla. Like what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's there. It's there to be built upon. It's like you laid the foundation for this beautiful house, right? And then you put nothing on it. Like it's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, true. Sausage.
Fuck with sausage. Respectfully. Like if I have like a group of people, right? Like I don't really know what pizza they like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna order some cheese because you're gonna have a person who eats cheese pizza. We're gonna do that.
Who's a bitch?
I'm gonna order a pepperoni and I'm gonna order a sausage. Those are gonna be my 3 staples. If I'm throwing a pizza party and I don't know what people like, everyone's gonna be happy.
See what I do.
I bring it back. Actually, I think S is a little audacious.
Yeah,
I think give it an A. I think it's a very strong competitor for A.
See, Robbie, I kind of do the same thing, but I do cheese, I do pepperoni, and then I do a joint pepperoni and sausage because most people that like pepperoni like sausage too.
I can respect that move. That's a baller move. I know. I'm trying to go and get one topping per pizza because I gotta buy a lot of pizza.
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards Ryan there. I want to give it towards the A tier.
I'm okay with that. Yep.
Yeah. Even though I love sausage, don't get me wrong. We got spinach next.
F. Why am I putting Why am I putting something healthy on my pizza?
You gotta look
Peppers
at
and
what we got
onions.
in the F tier, right? Like if you take a bite of a pizza with spinach, are you gonna have the same reaction as fucking anchovies and olives?
I'm not gonna be fucking happy. I can tell you that.
you don't have to be thrilled. I'm not gonna be thrilled eating plain
happy.
pizza.
But are you gonna spit it out like you do the anchovies and olives?
I think putting it lower than D is offensive to spinach.
I would put it the absolute lowest of D though. I don't get it. It just doesn't mesh. It's not what I want on my pizza.
I have gone out of my way to order spinach before.
That's crazy.
You need psychiatric help.
That's crazy.
But it was at one of those restaurants where you could just like unlimited toppings type beat, like Blaze. So you just throw some spinach on there, get a little bit. Yeah, I put all the meat on there, my guy.
Why'd you put all the veggies on there?
I did.
Why?
It was kind of gross. Actually, I had way too many.
You're
but that wasn't the spinach's fault. I just had like fucking 11 toppings on it, and I was overwhelmed.
Moving on to the second to last one here, steak. Not a
weird
pizza topping.
It's playing out of its league here. It's playing in the wrong league here for sure.
Yeah,
I don't hate it though.
No,
I've had like a Philly cheesesteak pizza before. It was. I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it.
I think it belongs in C because it's just lost. It doesn't really know what it's doing, but it's a delicious food. So
indeed. And then the last one, tomatoes.
Whole ass tomatoes is fucking weird.
It's like meatballs, but worse. Like you're still getting it all in like one bite.
Yeah.
And my thing is like when you're cooking a pizza, right? Like one of the best ways to do it is do it as hot as possible, right? You get that nice char on the crust. Who the fuck wants to eat just charred ass tomatoes? Like whole slices of tomatoes? No, that's disgusting.
To me, it's right there. It's right there with spinach. Like I would put them right next to each other, and they can hold hands on some veggie pizza that I don't want to fucking order. All right, that's where they can go, right there.
I'll respect it. I'll put it in the.
No, we can get that. We can get that done.
Yeah. So I mean that is it.
List,
so let me read out the list to our listeners real quick. So our S tier, we have chicken, onions, and pepperoni. What an S tier right there. A tier, we have bacon, bell peppers, and sausage.
Strong A tier.
B tier is basil and ham. Our C tier is extra cheese, jalapenos, meatball, mushroom, pineapple, and steak. Our D tier is garlic, plain, spinach, and tomatoes. And then our F tier is anchovies and olives.
Yeah, and there's we have 6 different tiers here, but there's a clear 3-tier hierarchy. You have stuff that you're never going to be upset if it's on a pizza. Things that like really potentially depend on the pizza or the mood. And then things that I might shoot you if you actually like waste $15 on putting
imagine
on pizza.
Someone like asks you, oh, can you order like a spinach pizza? Like, what the hell would your reaction?
Look at Robbie's face.
Yo,
I think he's actually
when's this party over?
Get out of my house, bro. Like, sounds terrible. But I mean, that is it for the tier list. We thank you very much for joining us. We're at 75 subscribers. Our goal is to get to 100 by the end of August. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, comments. Let's get the engagement rates up a little bit.
If you're already subscribed, make your mom subscribe. If your mom's already subscribed, get your dad to do it. Just get everyone to subscribe it, man. That's what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for.
And one of the biggest ways you can help us, obviously, besides like sharing and telling people about the podcast, is engaging with the post and letting us know potentially what you liked, what you disagree with. If you think our take about like spinach peach is dog shit, I don't want to hear from you, but let us know.
And we're gonna be engaging back with you. We're gonna be in the comments section letting you know why we're right and you're wrong. So just
I'll give you my personal phone number so we can schedule a time for you to come on the podcast and debate your opinions.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if we grow enough, like Patreon, you know what I'm saying? Like make some money, you know what I'm saying? Like,
OnlyFans?
Yeah. Well, now we're getting.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Bros and the Berg podcast. For myself, Ryan, and Connor, thank you for listening, and please gamble responsibly.
Adios.